Hello and welcome everybody, my name is ZaphodX and I'm here with Clan Wars in the start of 2015 and presented by ExodusEsports.com. I'm joined here by Marshall.
Hello there folks, and yes, it's a different sort of Clan Wars this time. It's not just two clans going head to head on each other's system. This time we've got 3, so that means 6 games over the course of the next few hours. It's going to be big and it's going to be better.
Indeed. It's nice that we're going to get 6 big games rather than just 2. Lots of points obviously on offer today. It is the start of 2015 and new tournaments for Planetary Annihilation, which is cool. And exciting stuff. We're also going to keep the teams all on the same colours. So rather than changing colours between games, each clan will remain one colour. We're going to have Pag in blue, we're going to have Burning in pink, and we will have Cult in orange. Interviews perhaps, Marshall? Who do you want to drag in?
I don't know. Who have we got first? The first game that we have today is Team Burning versus Cult on Cult's home system, so I think perhaps see what Mr. Takashi has to say. We could bring in Icy Calm at the same time to see if there's some any pre-game banter.
No, let's do them separately. Let's do them separately.
Okey-doke.
Start with Mish.
Incoming Mish. Hello there, sir. How are you today?
Hello.
How do you pronounce your name? Because I remember I got it wrong last time.
just call me Mish.
Mish will be
Just stick
easier.
with that one.
Rather
I know
than...
Marshall doesn't like that, but just stick with Mish.
Okay. So we're here with Mr. Takashi, we're going to call Mish, who is from Team Burning. And Indeed. So, what time is it in Australia right now? Or Australia and New Zealand?
It's 2 AM in New Zealand. It's a mixture of 11 till 3 to 1.
Wow.
Australia.
And all the Europeans are probably complaining right now, oh, it's so early, why is it not evening time? Those guys are bending over backwards just so we can get some acceptable time zones. So thanks for turning up, guys. Genuinely, I think it's really awesome that the Aussies and the Kiwis can turn up and get involved.
No, we love to get amongst it.
Cool.
It's good fun.
So we're playing on the Colt's home system first. Have you checked it out?
It's quite the beast, isn't it?
It is. It's
good for some mega strats.
Yeah, one large planet, tons of metal.
Yeah, no shortage of metal there.
Have you been practicing? You got any specific strats for it?
We haven't practiced too much for the Cult home system. We did a bit of stuff on the Pag home system just because their planets are a wee bit smaller. So there was our practice for kind of the big single planet games.
Okay.
So we've done a couple of things, tried a few ideas out.
And we're still on the same system that you had before, aren't we? For your home system.
Yeah. There's a wee change in the metal distributions to try and keep them nice and balanced, but aside from that, everything's the same.
I remember your system being pretty nice with a lot of potential for good players. I'm looking forward to seeing that after this game. Any last words before we say hello to Icy Calm from Cult?
No, just have fun. Good luck, have fun.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, best of luck to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Cool, and we'll speak to you later.
Cheers, bye.
So,
Okay, let's move Mr. Takashi out, and have we got...
Icy Calm is down at the bottom there. I'll bring him in.
It's like...
Oh, hey guys, sorry Icy Calm. Ended up grabbing you there when you weren't ready. Hey Icy Calm, welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Nice to be here.
Good stuff. I think you missed out on the last one, didn't you? You weren't here.
Yeah, I really wanted to play, but I had to do something else, and we didn't have our best players then, so...
You bringing the A team today?
Well, actually, no. I mean, 3 of us are pretty good, but one guy has been out of the game for 2 months. He only has 60 hours in the game, but in any case, I think we have a good strategy. So.
Okay. Good stuff. So you're switching up. You're bringing a new strategy to your system.
See, we're trying to because our APM is around 50 and our opponent is around 100. I'm trying to make plans that do not have a lot of micro. So we're keeping it as simple in the micro as possible, and I'm trying to make a strategy that like nobody has seen before.
Oh, well.
So if we can actually make it work, it will be fine. But But if we actually try to like make complicated plans, it's not gonna work, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You've evidently thought about it. This is cool.
Yeah.
I think you put a lot of thought into it, and you've got the right idea. So I'm interested to see what you bring out.
We have a thread in my forum where there's like gigantic posts discussing the strategy because that's what I like, you know. And you know, it's just a bit frustrating sometimes because the viewers, they don't understand. Sometimes they think that the strategy is bad, whereas the strategy is good, but we just are not good enough to execute it properly, you see?
No, absolutely. I completely understand. I think it's great that you guys are still turning up. I know there's been some trash talk going on, but I think you guys do a great job, and you're always here on time, and you're always ready, and you're very reliable. And I just think it's great that you're out here and playing games, and all your criticizers aren't here playing games, so screw them.
Thanks for hosting everything. I think you guys are doing a great job, and you know, I never expected such professional, you know, all that stuff you're making and the logos, and it's just amazing.
Oh, thank you very much. There's lots of very talented people behind the scenes who are making it all work out properly. So, how confident are you today then with your new strategies?
How often what?
How confident are you today?
We don't know, dude. It's like it could be over in 10 minutes, or it could catch them unawares and it could go on for half an hour. I don't know. I'm hoping the latter, but it's tough, man. It's tough. These guys are good, you know.
Yeah, they are definitely good players. It's hard to tell how it will work out for you. But I think we're going to wish you the best of luck, and we'll jump into our first game here.
Thanks.
Good luck. There we go, Marshall. Those were interviews with the two teams, Mish Takashi, or Mish, from Team Burning First, and we just spoke to Icy Calm, the leader of the cult.
Indeed.
I think we're going to jump into the game now, and we'll get in. We are playing on Cult's home system, which is called Cult Prime.
Yes.
And we will have a little look at that system and explain it before we get into the game.
Yeah, looking at the players lists as well, there's a lot of good players there from both sides, I believe. Although I must admit, I haven't really been in PA the last week, so I haven't seen any of these players play particularly recently, but going on their past performances is certainly a good one to have a measure by. But yes, Cult Prime, a massive planet. We've seen some dodgy strats on there before insofar as their execution. What do you think is likely to happen on this one?
Well, I don't know, but I am very excited because he's clearly put some thought into it, hasn't he? And I think they've really been working on it, and they do definitely have a good grasp of the matchup and what they have to do, and knowing that they may be outmatched in skill, but knowing that they can out-strategize their opponents. I think, you know, even if they don't win, they've put a lot of effort into it, and I think they do a great job turning on to Clan Wars.
Yeah.
So we've spawned into the system. Let's change the scene and let's introduce. Hello and welcome everybody. My name is ZaphodX, and I'm joined here by Marshall.
Hello there.
And we're here for the new season of Clan Wars presented by ExodusEsports.com. We currently have the Cult versus Team Burning. And we're playing on the Cult's home system, Marshall. Do you want to talk a little bit about this Christmas ball we got right here?
The Christmas ball. Oh my goodness, I've just zoomed in and it is speckled with green dots everywhere. That is a ton of metal, to the point that I don't think you really need to worry too much about where you spawn. So it's more about the geographical features than it is about the metal placement here, but wow. There are also some reasonable sized bodies of water there as well, and with the recent changes to naval, given those, and we haven't seen the system played since, we might actually see some more heavy naval play, which could be definitely interesting.
I agree. In a lot of the Earth planets, we don't see too many bodies of water. There's definitely like a noticeable amount here. A lot of the land is cut off from other bits of land because of these bodies of water. And as you mentioned, having the naval in there with the new naval balance is entirely viable. Like back in alpha beta days where it's like you put naval units in your water pools because they defended all of the ground around them. Dom asking why we're yellow. It looks like it changed actually. They were the right colour in the lobby, were they? I don't know.
Yeah, there's been a couple of issues like that. However, now that they're all spawned in, we can see what's going on. So Colt in orange. Game's paused. We can still have a quick look at their spawns.
We can't talk to them. Never mind, we'll talk a little bit about the game. So we got Team Colt playing through their strategy. Evidently, they've got 2 players spawning in pairs apart from each other, and they're also actually relatively close. They're about a quarter planet distance away, so it could be much worse. So they're both of them spawning together and pretty close. So in a good situation for Colt, particularly to play into their strategy. Looking over at Burning, they've actually split into 3 groups, obviously 2 and 1 and 1, and they formed a little triangle. They're not actually too far away from each other, so I don't think this is a particularly weak system or a weak situation for them to be in.
I mean, looking at the distances between the southernmost spawns for both teams, you've got 2 commanders versus 1 commander, and the distance there isn't particularly great, especially if you get some early docks raiding going out there. You can rush across and really put some pressure on really early, and because he's at the end of the triangle further away from the double spawn, he's going to need to have some reinforcements if that does end up being the case. But of course, before that can be the case, scouting is paramount.
Yeah. So the players should be starting pretty soon. What do you think about the spawn points then? Would you prefer to be in Colt's situation right now or Burning's?
I'm tempted to go with Burning. Because they're close enough to each other that they can reinforce, but they're far enough apart that they've got a diverse amount of map control, and the area between them is effectively theirs insofar as tank control is concerned. But Colt at the same time, with their double spawn commanders, they're able to push up the tech tree a bit faster if they so desire.
The one thing I like about the southern Colt players here is they've got like a really solid position because there's so much water around them. There's like very few areas to need to defend. There's only one little choke point to the left of them there, and they've also got the water to defend themselves with a little bit of naval. So it seems like quite a nice position for the southern players. Nice and easy to hold on to.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump into Colt, see whether I can get the game started. Guys, can you start the game? We can't chat in main chat.
Oh.
Can you just say in main chat that we're starting? Cheers, guys.
Okay.
Okay. That took a little while, but we're back in game now. We are playing. First mech comes out from Burning there. Building their engineers, expanding a couple of factories. Interestingly, over at the north side, we see a metal storage and an energy storage started by Burning. So starting very early with them.
Yeah, I think that's entirely justified. With the amount of eco they're going to be grabbing as early as they will be, they'll definitely need that storage so that they can keep up with their production just in case. Because there's just so much metal on this planet. It's actually going to be a tricky situation actually finding placement for non-metal buildings.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's one of the things you actually need to be worried about. Also got to be careful of all the trees. There's a relatively large amount of trees. You're going to want to clear that area, maybe burn it down, possibly reclaim it if you want to start building large stuff over a big area.
Definitely. So the Burning players southern spawn, double vehicle factory first, got out 4 fabbers there, following up with some tanks and a spinner as well. So he's getting a little bit of early anti-air, and that Firefly that's going over, just managing to dodge the range of that, but does get the scout, and the ping goes off there from the Colt player saying, "Oi, look, there's a commander down here, be ready to go and take it out, and I'll just ping you there, because we've already got a docks force coming in." There's only 4 there, so if they run into the tanks, they will get repelled. It's a good decision to go tanks, but at the same time they're much slower moving. So you got that trade-off there, power versus movement in this case.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's a large planet, so you want those fast-moving bots to get everywhere and do stuff. But equally, when it comes to confrontations, the tanks just absolutely slaughter the docks.
Yeah.
And if we look at the unit composition here, I mean, we see Colt, this is something they've done before, they're going for a lot of bots. We actually see them getting a couple of air factories out as well. Air support's always going to be really useful. But they're going all bots here, so that's what they're going to invest in, and they want that fast-moving speed. If we look over at Burning, I don't think I see any bots. It seems to be all tanks, and that's...
There's one bot factory there.
We see one bot factory there, but they seem to be going predominantly for tanks. And I think that'll help them out once they start getting into confrontations.
I mean, I think there's going to be it's a two-sided coin in this case, because there's so much metal around that taking it away from your opponent is going to be crucial, and the bots have the movement speed to be able to do that, while at the same time you're going to need some backbone to follow up on some actual prop assaults, so you're going to need that balance between bots and tanks, I feel.
Yeah, I think, you know, having the balance of like nice fast early raiding, easy defending docks early on, but then also having the tanks when it comes to an actual a face-off confrontation. We do see Colt beginning to surround that southern Burning player, who is a little bit isolated, kind of preventing his expansion here, coming over to the north side towards where those engineers are as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the sort of raiding they need. To go and take down those 2 engineers at this point will be really good for them, because the Burning player there still only has 2 factories, almost about to get a 3rd, but that's going to be a lot of time invested in building additional fabricators there.
I think we need to see a lot more fabricators from that Burning dude, because he's obviously under a little bit of pressure, so really he needs to get out more factories and get out some units and unit production.
Yeah, it looks as though he's definitely going for the eco of the team there, with so many P-gens with the commander, although he's now moved that P-gen line onto the area without trees, so if he wants to he can transition to a lot of factories and he won't have to bother reclaiming too hard.
Really important to know those areas where you can just build quickly without any of that reclaiming, wasting time.
Yes. North Burning player now moving into the pond there, got a naval factory out with a naval fabricator as well, so he's going to start laying claim to that region there, which is good. A lot of fireflies and scouting going out from Colt as well, and a lot of pings going down from Burning, seeing this massive docks force to the south there as the wall starts to go up. But that could be pretty significant, as there's really not a lot to defend against such a docks force from that southern Burning player, so perhaps teleporters might be useful for the Burning players at this point.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised we haven't actually seen teleporters yet, but I'm sure we'll see them pretty soon. So that's the 5th mech that's gone down, another 2 under pressure. We've got to be careful though, 1 Uber cannon could kill every single one of those docks. And we do see some of those tanks now coming in to engage, and some more raiding actually going on the other southern Burning player. That's been cleaned up by a group of docks though, so not too much worries there.
I do have a fear though, because if you look at the North Burning spawn, they've gone for advanced vehicles very early on, right next to their deep space orbital radar there, which is good just to keep an eye on the orbital layer. But the advanced vehicles early on is going to give them the advanced tech and the advanced economy they might need to just really hammer out the factories. And it looks as though the Burning players are going heavy air. So
they really are actually.
Bomber snipes are a real thing, and docks aren't particularly fantastic at shooting down air. However, at the same time, you have got quite a lot of interceptors being produced from the Colt double spawn towards the north, in addition to vehicle factories as well. But still, such an emphasis on bots. But now lots of vehicle factories coming out from Burning.
A couple of T1 bombers actually from Team Burning towards the southern player actually did a good job clearing up some of those docks there, but fighters coming in helping thin out their forces a little bit, but the bombers, ooh.
Oh wow, this is where you really want to be getting on the micro with those docks. All you need is just a quick area patrol, and it really spreads them out so that the carpet bombs do such less damage to those. But now you see that's bought the Burning player time, and he's now got a really large tank force to defend, and that's more than enough to defend against these docks, I feel. So that was a good move there to buy them time.
Attacks coming in at the north side, whole load of bombers to defend for Burning, cleaning up a lot of those docks. The fighters are actually right there for Colt, just out of position in terms of where they needed to be.
Yeah.
So at the moment, great micro from those bombers from Burning. And as you mentioned earlier, I think the T2 is really going to swing it towards them. Currently doing a great job, both teams on 800 medals, slight lead for Team Burning, but actually very, very close indeed. But having this T2 eco, I think is what's going to put it over the edge, because they're going to get T2 power gens, which is something they really need at this stage. And as soon as they do that, they can get a whole load of T2 medal and really just explosively increase their eco.
Yeah, and then the snowball starts rolling, and if you look in the economy tab there, we've currently got comparable metal and they're floating over at Colt, but Burning is double the P-gen capacity there, so they can just fly away with their production. All they need to do really is just ramp up the air factories and then just go for straight bomber snipes and interceptor support.
We just saw a flyover of some bombers there. They did actually get shot down by the docks, but they took out a large group of them. And it's very painful when you're playing like this and you've built all these units and you've sent them and they're right outside your opponent's base, and then suddenly some bombers come in and just absolutely crush them. It's really irritating to have to deal with. At the moment, Burning is really investing very heavily in air units. If we look at the right-hand player, actually, he doesn't even have any ground factories here. All he has is air factories and the commander. So that kind of makes him really vulnerable in one hand, but if Colt here just start building a whole load of fighters, then maybe they can actually overtake and take air control and do a lot with it.
Yeah, they're going to need to get on that really, really soon indeed. Plus, getting some tanks as well. They really want to start transitioning to vehicles at this point because Burning on that southern spawn there has so many vehicle factories compared to bots, and they're just continually streaming, especially with the economy advantage they have now. They cannot neglect the transition to vehicles because they are so much more powerful, and if you outproduce a docks player with vehicles, well, you're just going to absolutely trample them. As we see now in the north, lots of vehicles heading down to the Great Wall of Colt there. With lots of docks trying to navigate just to the southwest. Ping going off saying, oi look, there's a big force over there, we don't necessarily want to go against it just yet, but the tanks can go against the walls. There's a lot of point defense there to defend, but you know, might be wise to get a few bombers out. A little bit unusual from Burning to actually head directly towards that wall with point defense. Like, of all of the places you head towards, that is literally the worst place on the entire planet. I think they've only just scouted it though, as we can see them now rerouting towards the side of it.
Yeah, they couldn't see the turrets behind, and now they can. And,
yeah,
and it looks like they are actually going to head down the side.
Might be interesting to pop in a couple of grenadiers at this point.
Possibly, yeah, especially with these walls going up. But great work from Colt. Walls are very, very powerful indeed. And that seems to have been working out well for them, giving them a little bit of control. Bombers actually coming in at one of the Colt commanders here. Not enough bombers to kill him in one big strike, but he's already down to 50% here. Only fighters left for now, but he needs to be careful. This is the sort of time where you need to be wary of those T1 bomber snipes and just and get up out of the air and flak ideally around your base.
Yeah, flak is definitely the thing they want to do, especially now that most spawns have a T2 advanced factory in it. But I think that's not the biggest problem for Colt right now, as we see over here another large tank incursion just continually pushing those docks back, and it's going to start hitting the PGen lines as well, which is going to knock back their economy even more, though they are floating at the moment, so it's not necessarily going to dampen their spirits, excuse me, too heavily. Another bomber snipe coming in on the commander, leaving him now on 21%. But the flak is missing. Why have we not got flak?
Yeah, currently just the T1 anti-air. I think that's all he has access to. Perhaps getting out T2 engineer, I think, really would be the best choice there. But he hasn't invested in that. Whole load of tanks also coming in over here. Commander coming in to deal with it. Going for their T2 factory, which is really not great. Really don't want to be losing that T2 factory if they can help it.
Yeah, unfortunately it looks as though they probably will lose it as the levelers come in. If the commander can pop up a good Uber cannon.
Oh yeah, an Uber cannon will save it.
Oh wow,
there we go.
It goes.
Saves the T2 factory, now going to repair it. That's a nice little save.
They just need to get more production. They're floating their eco really heavily at the moment. If they just flammed out a whole bunch of factories, and I mean they only need to be vehicle factories, and they'll start to push back, because on the southern spawn they've got vehicles in their base, and docks just cannot do anything against this in ones and twos. They just can't.
If anything, I think for Colt, it would be easier for them to have tanks. I find the micro on tanks is much easier and much less intensive. Whereas with docks, you have to micro incredibly heavily, and if you screw up, then you pay the price. So the commander there was below 20%. He just got sniped by a couple more bombers, and that's one commander down now for Colt. 3 remaining. One actually in a lot of trouble. Pings going down there from Team Burning as they face one of them. He's actually in here amongst the Infernos. The Infernos do a ton of damage. He's falling below 24%. So few units, but I think he might go down.
No.
You do not want to let Infernos get close to your commander, because they do a lot of damage very quickly, and one Uber cannon isn't enough to kill them, so very, very dangerous.
And now there's a significant number of bombers out in the middle between the two bases there. That's probably single pass bomber snipe worthy, especially considering the lack of flak around the other commander. A few anti-aeros going up, a few interceptors as well, but at this point Colt is on the defensive and Burning can do whatever they please.
Oh man, there was a huge swarm of ducks up towards the North Pole, just got hammered by more bombers. Burning, they're not even building fighters. They don't really care if the bombers die, even though there's all these fighters here. They're just sending them in, getting rid of the docks. That's what really matters. And if the docks are dead, then they can't do any damage to the outskirts of their base.
Well, I mean, they're just overwhelming with sheer numbers now. If you look in the army tab, the factory count, 90 to 40. That is insane. That is insane. And a large number of those are air factories. And oh my goodness, that is painful. The bombers now coming up to the Colt spawn from the south there. I'll just give you the ping.
Yeah.
Looks as though the commander is out in the open as all the interceptors are up. If they get the scout on that commander, the bombers are just going to head straight in. Unfortunately, they decide not to at this point. Perhaps they just need a few more numbers.
There we go. It's just come into vision range, so they can see that commander there now. And I think they're going to go for it.
Oh,
they're changing their mind. No, you definitely need to fully
coming
commit.
in from the other side, so they're going to double snipe this with a good bit of combined micro, I suspect. Although at the same time, you don't want to double snipe it too hard because then you'll lose half of your bombers in that. If all it takes is just a little bit of missed timing.
I think at this stage, though, there's only 2 commanders left, so losing all your bombers to get one more snipe is okay, because then it leaves you with one last, you know, sudden death kill, and that's all you need to do to finish it up. We do see fighters now flying over that base for Colt. They're going to want to try and defend those commanders if possible. There's a lot of yellow around the map, Marshall. There's a lot of expansion, a lot of metal. So all that T1 metal income really increased them. Currently leading, what are we on the eco? 1800. So they have an enormous eco. And Colt's lost a lot of ground here. They lost a lot of their T1 mechs that they had gained.
That southern spawn isn't really a worry to Burning at this point. It's not producing enough. It's, you know, they've got perfect amounts of defense. A bomber snipe passing the commander there doesn't actually do any damage, but they just take losses. But I mean, they know it's not a threat because they put up so many air factories there on the front lines. So they're just thinking, okay, well, we have the production, they don't. We have the economy, they don't. We have the bombers and air control, they don't. So, you know, it's just a case of overwhelming with sheer bombing numbers.
Stuff happening now. We actually see tanks over at the north side coming in against the commander and a whole load of bombers coming in at the southern base. Interesting choice to go at the southern base. I'm not sure really... Well, I mean, obviously they want to destroy the infrastructure, but here, really, I think they should just be going for snipes and trying to end it. On the top-hand side, though, commander there getting into fight with those bombers, sorry, the tanks. Not a fight he wants to get into, because the commander is very, very weak in confrontations with units. He's taking a lot of damage as he falls below 20%. Doc's coming in here, probably going to save him as he gets away on 15%, but now he is super vulnerable to just a couple of bombers coming in. What's he on now? He's almost dead, sitting on 8%. His units just about managed to stop those tanks coming in. In come the bombers coming in from the southern side. Fighters leading the way, going to take a little bit of the anti-air fire. And those bombers are going to come in and finish it. Far too many bombers, actually. Going to lose way more units than necessary. Splits them up very nicely there. Saves the majority of the bombers. Loses the fighters, but does manage to save some of his bombers. And they're now all going to focus on that final commander. Oh, there's so many bombers coming in. There's no way he's getting out of this one alive. Falling to 32% before the last strike comes in.
Oh my goodness, look on the horizon there. That is insane.
Yeah, even more coming. I think they basically selected all air units, which is what they should do, as we see them coming over from all sides of the planet, ready to come in for that final blow.
That is painful, and there's no flak there. I mean, they could survive this if they just surrounded that commander in flak, but then there'd be the tanks coming in, and he just wouldn't be able to survive that.
Yeah, so obviously the one biggest mistake we can highlight here from Colt is they didn't build walls around their commander. And that enabled them to get air sniped.
Walls defending against bombers? Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, if he'd put double walls on there, he'd probably be like at 90% right now.
I do like the huddle of docks there, just bandaging him up over time.
So it looks like Burning wanted to actually wait and finish with the unit cannon. Classy, actually, from Colt. They don't let them play, and they delete their commanders beforehand. I think that's a good move from Colt, because that was kind of BM from Burning to not just finish it there.
Yeah. But GG, Burning take the win, and the points for their team.
GG's.